Hi, my name is Erika Wilson, and I'm going to be talking about the psychological effects of cycling today and how that impacts our mental health and brain function. Just as a short introduction as to why I was interested in learning more about the psychological effects of cycling was because over the past 4 years of my life, cycling has really played a really huge role for various reasons. It started out during my junior year of high school. I was an exchange student in Denmark for a year, and I began to commute to school every day by bicycle. Being an exchange student is a very challenging but also a really amazing experience that really pushed me to new limits in many ways, and I attribute a lot of my success over that year to cycling and what that did for me. Denmark, as well, is frequently ranked as the happiest country in the world, and so I began to think that cycling must have some influence for that, aside from just the physical health benefits of the activity. I also realized that my overall well being and motivation in school and in relationships, etc., was really increasing, and I just simply fell in love with the sport during that year. Now at Cal Poly, I compete on the triathlon team and have really grown to enjoy cycling more and more, and so I was extremely interested to research the psychological effects of the sport and was curious to learn how else it can be benefiting us besides just the physical health benefits. So I'm going to just start off talking about how cycling as an aerobic activity can work as a mood booster. One of the ways it does this is through neurological factors. Aerobic activity itself can actually increase the blood levels of anandamide in our systems, which is essentially a natural cannabinoid. So it affects the endocannabinoid system in our brain, which has the same active components effect that marijuana does. And so this is kind of an explanation as to why a lot of people will experience a cyclist high, or some people will refer to it as a runner's high in terms of running, which is sort of this natural euphoric feeling we have when we exercise. And so that can help increase our mood by many levels. Also, James Blumenthal from Duke University did a study where he found that pedaling immediately starts to boost the serotonin levels in our brain, which is a chemical that's produced by nerve cells that help to stabilize our moods, and is sometimes called the happy hormone. And this can be used to prevent and treat long-term depression down the line, which is really incredible. Cycling as well can help increase our brain function. There's something called white matter that's found underneath our brain surface that connects different parts of our brain, kind of like a pathway system. And there was a study done in the Netherlands on schizophrenic patients, as well as comparing them to healthy patients, and did a test the impacts of regular stationary cycling on both groups, and then did brain scans and found that it increased the white matter fiber tracts in their brain by using the stationary bike regularly. So that basically shows that the impact that cycling had on those patients was that it really helped increase the connectivity of their brain's function, and that really just has an overall arching effect on our daily lives and kind of our overall performance in interactions in school or work, etc. There's also something called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is a protein that helps to make new neurons in our brain and also upkeep and maintain the ones that are already there, and is also known to prevent different neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It's also been found in many studies that exercise can increase the levels of the BDNF protein. In 2015, there was a study done on diabetic patients that showed that there was increased BDNF levels after they spent 3 months using the stationary bike regularly. Next, I want to talk about memory and the impact that cycling can have as well on our memory function. That white matter that I just mentioned can also aid in slowing our aging, and also this can increase our hippocampus growth, and the hippocampus is an organ in the medial temporal lobe and part of our limbic system that helps to regulate our emotions, and also plays a big role in the performance of our long-term memory. the failure of the system is typically a key symptom of Alzheimer's disease. And so it's pretty incredible that by exercise and cycling, we can increase the amount of white matter in our brains, increase our hippocampus growth, and then this could potentially help us to prevent long-term diseases down the line, neurological diseases like Alzheimer's. There was also a cognitive test done on males, which used a series of 8 different cognitive tests that fell into the categories of memory, reasoning, concentration, and planning. And through this test, they did a baseline test. They gave these 8 series tests to all the males in the study, and then had them spend 30 minutes on a stationary bike and take them again. And throughout those 30 minutes after they took the test again, their scores increased, and there was the most prominent difference for the memory category. Lastly, cycling and exercise in itself in nature has long been shown to have really great effects on improving our overall well-being and reducing stress and anxiety. There's something called cortisol, which is stress hormone that we have, and the levels of this can decrease when you're cycling or exercising. And so just getting outside and performance exercise, you're getting the physical benefit, but it's also reducing the amount of stress hormones you have in your body. And combined with being outside in nature, this can really reduce the effects of anxiety and depression. And so overall, it's just really incredible that we can use this sport to not only increase our brain's functioning and connectivity, help boost our mood, but it can also help us to prevent and basically reduce the impacts of depression or kind of these, low mood symptoms that we might have, such as stress. In conclusion, cycling can improve our cognition in so many different ways, which is really kind of our process of knowledge and perception, and so it really plays a role into everything that we do. It also can really improve our brain functioning, as I was saying, with that connectivity, and this can help improve your job performance, school performance. It'll improve your mental health, preventing depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and just overall increase our emotional well-being. And overall, I can really see why all these elements play a part in not only physically but also psychologically improving our lives. And I hope I can really continue to incorporate as much of the sport into my life as possible. It's an activity I really never want to take for granted or cease to gain these benefits from, and I really hope that everyone can gain that experience as well. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.